Jesse has heard something. Let's get Mayor Jesse Alig, the Mayor's Council of Guam president. Always love starting a conversation like that. Mayor Jesse, have you heard?
Good morning.
Good morning. Have you heard anything about lifting of restrictions for Thanksgiving?
No, I haven't heard anything yet. I know that no, I have not heard anything yet. We did not have a meeting last week, and so yeah, not too sure. Haven't heard anything. Just the weather.
Right, just something about the weather. We'll have more on that coming up at
Yeah.
8:20. So I know the governor's in New York on a date night or something, but you didn't hear anything about restrictions for Thanksgiving. Nothing at all, sir.
No,
Okay.
I did
What do you
not.
What do you think, though, Mayor? Just kind of knowing this administration and seeing that we have had the 3 days of 20 some positives.
Well, I'm hopeful the restrictions. Well, there'll be some lifted restrictions for sure. And that's just me. Yeah, I'm thinking that I think most people have already figured out how to live safely for the most part.
Right.
And then you get, of course, you're going to have those little issues, but I mean, really, for the most part, I think everyone is, and even for us as mayors, right? The equipment that we lend out, if we even lend anything out, most people already know they only going to borrow 20 chairs or 25 chairs at the most, and most of us don't lend tables anymore and canopies because if you're only having 25 people, you don't really need a canopy. You can hang out under the tree, right? Like we used to. So yeah, it's kind of most people get it. Typically, they call us for just the lisadzo type thing at home, or if there's an anniversary, that's typically what they call us for. So I really think that most people have figured out how to do it safely. I mean, we're gonna get the few in between, but I think for the most part, I think we're gonna be okay. So yeah, I think lifting some of the restrictions, I think it's gonna happen. I'm hopeful. I really am.
What do you think, though, if we do lift the restrictions? Do you think that the restrictions that have been placed on the unvaccinated will be lifted as well? Or do you think it's going to be, oh, only vaccinated can have Thanksgiving up to 50 people?
Oh, yeah, I still think I think it's not what I want. I think my opinion is that I think everything will still be based on your vaccination status. I'm based on what we've done, what we've seen in the past, and what's happening now. I'm almost sure that it'll be based on your vaccination status. Let's hope it's not based on 3 doses, just your 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if if only the boosted can have Thanksgiving, then I'm not going to have to make much food.
Well, that's good because
Yeah.
the prices are higher these
Oh my
days.
God, Mayor, what is going on with the prices?
You can buy a smaller turkey.
But Mayor, I mean, do you think that because we've all been waiting for this, when the Dr. Ann Pobutsky came out and said, "Oh, 25 cases or less sustained means we're coming out of this surge." Is this something to be celebrated, or are you thinking at all about all the Monomco that we lost along the way? Because it was mostly Monomco who died during this surge. People with a lot of underlying conditions that we don't know if they were even able to get the vaccine.
Well, honestly, I think for the most part, most people are either their sense of awareness is heightened because of this, because of what we've experienced. I don't want to think that we should be in this lockdown or these restrictions for too much longer, because we just have to learn how to live with it, and just make sure that you're. And so over the weekend, and as an example, I spoke to several residents, not just from PD, but from other villages, and their reaction to what happened within their families was correct, was spot on. They weren't feeling too well. They went to get checked, and they had some kind of sickness, but it wasn't COVID. And it was 3 different families that I spoke to that had multi-generational families in the home, and it was precisely that. As soon as you're not feeling well, just get checked, and so you'll know your status. You'll know if you need more additional medical attention, or you're gonna be okay. You need to isolate, and so forth. Thankfully, none of the three families that I spoke to were COVID related, but they were sick. They felt sick, and all three families were vaccinated. So including their manamko. But the first thing on their minds were the really young children and the manamko in the home. And they took care of it. That's just what it needs to be for all of us. If you're not feeling well, just go check your doctor. And public health is available. I know that there's a lot of complaints about contacting public health, but quite honestly, we just need to continue to try. The 311 option two for vaccination and for homebound assistance. I know it has always been contentious, but it works. It really does work. I know that one time I tried it and they weren't answering, and they just kind of had to run away on a little project, and that's what their explanation was. But typically it works. So those types of things, I think we just need to continue to press out, and just for awareness sake, so that you're prepared and that your family is checked and everyone's healthy. That's really how we need to live, and that's just keeping your family safe. And I think if we continue to do that, we'll be okay. We'll be okay to celebrate Thanksgiving, and we'll be okay to celebrate everything else. Our birthdays and the happy things in life, because it is what it is, and I think it'll be okay.
That's a beautiful sentiment, Mayor. May I also ask, do you at all get any sense from island residents that they might be thinking it's like, okay, I still want to have Thanksgiving to some degree, but if I can kind of scale back on that, seeing as how we're not completely out of the woods yet, I'm okay with that if we can have more of a traditional proper Christmas and also celebrate Santa Maria and Camalan Day. It's like you kind of have to balance them.
Yeah, well, I think what I'm hearing more is that they want to celebrate, but they know they need to celebrate in a different way. Celebrate with less family, but with family, or celebrate with friends, but less friends. So that's kind of what I'm hearing. And then, of course, last week, it wasn't, I don't know if it was a media release, but I know it was sent around about Santa Maria and Camalan. And I haven't heard. And so I've seen it go through several different group chats, and there was not one negative remark about it. I think the Catholic Church on that side, I think it's commendable that they've addressed that so early enough to let people know that it's just going to be done a different way. And I think I know you guys saw that, but when they did that the first time, it spoke volumes, quite honestly. And so I think I'm glad that Monsignor James issued that notice, and that we'll prepare that way. And then looking forward to Christmas, I just feel like more people again will prepare to celebrate, but just in a different way, and still celebrate with families, still celebrate with friends, but just less.
Now I
think the issue we're gonna have is most people are enjoying the partying outdoors, or partying out like at a restaurant or at an event place. Now that's going to be the issue, right? Because they're not, if the government restrictions are still held, then they're not going to change their status. And so we'll leave it at that for now.
Are you seeing this, Mayor? I'm seeing this stuff nationally trending on social media. Where it's people are starting to talk about how they're not inviting their unvaccinated friends and relatives to holiday functions. Are you hearing any of that at all?
I'm not hearing of any of that. No, I'm not. I'm not hearing it. I have not heard it. No, I can't see. How do I feel about it? Well, I know that in my circle, in my bubble, we're okay. As far as vaccinated and not vaccinated, those of us that get together are healthy, and try to stay healthy. And I think that's bottom line.
My family had something like that, and it was an awkward conversation to have, but it was one that needed to happen. Like all my aunties had to say, like, okay, well, we want to do something like this and kind of keep it, in line with the regulation, but we've just got to ask respectively and everything like that within each of your families who's been vaccinated, who isn't.
Well,
I think one of the things that I've seen is that if they're not vaccinated, and I think because they know us and they know me, we'll get together and we'll say, hey, they'll say, hey, I'm not vaccinated, and just I'm glad for them being forthright, and I think that's the company you keep, right?
yeah, I'm doing a podcast today, Mayor, and one of the four people that I'm recording it with is not vaccinated. So when I told the other people, I was like, "Hey, you want to jump on this podcast?" They're like, "Yeah, yeah." And I was like, "Well, I'm doing it with so and so is not vaccinated." And they're like, "Yeah, okay, fine." Because you're right. I mean, just because you're not vaccinated doesn't mean that you don't, do all the stuff that's supposed to keep you safe. Sabrina, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mayor. Has there been any update on the ESF? Have you guys received your money?
No update on ESF, no update on ARPA. I have been in communication with the administration about both monies, both funds, and I'm hoping to meet with them soon. I'll let you know. I'm hoping it'll be sometime this week,
What
but
about
I don't know.
what about the COVID differential pay?
And it's the same with the COVID differential pay.
It
Yeah.
just seems that there's a lot of employees with the Mayor's Council of Guam that have been doing so much, and it's like you guys are you're front line, but at the end of the line in terms of
Well,
getting
you know what? And I'll just
paid.
tell you because and I don't want it to be negative in any way. It's kind of proof that we have been there. And so we have one district who now is not delivering senior meals because we have not received gas reimbursement, and gas is $5. We have not received any vehicle repair or vehicle service or new vehicles. And I don't blame this mayor. I really don't. And so when the mayor informed me that they no longer want to deliver, or they don't no longer can deliver senior meals based on these issues, I first of all I can't complain. They're the mayor, right? And we'll leave it at that. It's their decision as the mayor. But as the president, I can't complain because we've been asking for the help. I'm not sure how soon we're going to get the help, but this particular district, just kind of is not able to do it. And I think you'll remember at an earlier story at the onset of COVID, most of us purchased used vehicles from GSA, and that's the money that's the kind of vehicles we can afford are the used ones, the ones that cost less than $5,000. And so what does that mean? I mean, even in your personal lives, when you purchase something less than $5,000, you know for sure that something's wrong or something will go wrong soon enough. And so those vehicles, instead of coming to us directly, were used for COVID response. So I don't recall how many months, but it was quite a long time that the vehicles that we purchased out of our district funds were used for COVID response from public health. And ultimately we received them back. And they did, the chief of staff and DPW, they did a good job at making sure that we received the vehicles in good order. But again, they're used, and apparently this one district is just kind of, stuck because there are less vehicles, and they still have to continue the work of their district. And so the Division of Senior Citizens is taking over, and they've handled the distribution of the meals for those particular manam. But we're certainly not going to let that go. But I think it's a testament to the need in the villages. And so you're right.
What district is this?
Well, it's not, like I said, the Manamco are taken care of. They're not good. They're not, and the mayor really just tried his best, and he, but that was just, I'm just sharing it because you're right. We need the help, and that's proof.
Mayor, what district was it? What village?
Again, it's not negative.
No,
But,
and I'm not trying to say that it is. I'm just saying that it's an example of how, if you can't afford to keep doing it, and then you have the administration not providing the help for mayors who have been there since day one. I mean, what do you guys have to do? Go and beg and beg and beg and beg and beg?
So
I'm just saying, at what point is it enough is enough for you?
Well, I think at that point, if it gets to the point to where I'll try to hold off as long as I can. But like Mayor McDonald is a senior mayor, and he has worked in through many different administrations, and I think at this point he has just it really is more than frustrating for him, and I don't want it to get to a point where everyone else feels that way. And so that's why I'm saying I believe we will have this meeting with the administration sometime this week about the money coming to us.
Okay, first let's just break this down though. You haven't received your ESF funds, even though being notified since August that you guys were awarded funding for all these different mayors and districts for your after school type programs, and also to conduct some CIP projects to prepare the facilities for these after school programs. You have not received, employees of the Mayor's Council, frontliners, have not received COVID differential pay since when?
Oh gosh, I can't confirm the actual date. It's been several months now.
Yeah, I'd like to find out that date. And,
yeah, I can get that.
And so, in terms of ARP money, the Mayor's Council of Guam has received how much?
None so far. None that I am aware of.
And you have a particular village, Agania Heights, they don't even have vehicles, is that what you're saying? To deliver food to Armanumco?
That's correct.
And you're going to be having a meeting with Adelup this week to say...
I'm hoping that it'll be this week. I'm hoping that we'll have a meeting this week to discuss the process in which we'll receive this rescue plan money.
Mayor, don't you already meet with the governor's office weekly?
I do, but that hasn't. We have not. Since then we have not received any, and we didn't have a meeting last week. That's what I mentioned earlier. So I'm hoping to meet this week.
I don't know why you're not mad.
Oh no, I am. I mean, it is. It's. It is. Everyone's frustrated, but you kind of have to keep a level head sometimes because there's still a whole lot going on out there.
So when you see an expenditure report or an allocation report of ARP monies, nothing on that report was like, Mayor's Council didn't even get anything. My employees that are busting their butts every single day for COVID response haven't received anything.
But we paid $2 million in credit card fees first.
Actually allocated about $6 million.
$6 million, I'm sorry.
I did have, I didn't send a written comment about it, but when I saw it, I was concerned that there were other entities that received money. We don't even need $1 million, to keep us going. Not that I believe, but at least some support for our vehicles, our aging vehicles, right, that we use on a daily basis, sometimes 7 days a week. That was disheartening, and that'll definitely be part of the discussions for sure. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on that. I haven't called you because we haven't had the meeting.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm hopeful, you know, and just like the ESF, it's like we just, you know, we like I said, we use the money, or we need the money to prepare in advance, right, for our programs. I mean, now that we know, you know, school might even be going back to face for 5 days a week. We certainly there's nothing stopping us from starting our after school programs. And so we're certainly going to need the money for that, to prepare for that. And like I mentioned, we don't need a lot of that money, or some of that money is also to prepare for the program and not just to actually execute the program. So
Yeah, we had a comment here. It's serious when Sabrina says Dalai. Yeah. F. Glenn comments in, plenty empty promises. Yeah, Mayor, what do you make of that? Because the governor's office, through the communications director, Crystal Paco San Augustine, they came out with a release in August bragging about how they had awarded all these millions of dollars to different nonprofits and also the mayors for, like the after school program. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't do so well in school. But
I mean, politics is that an empty promise is after 4 years, if it was not, and it's just my opinion, after 4 years, if it wasn't delivered, then it's an empty promise. That's politics.
Not 4 months.
Not 4 months.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, that's Sabrina. If she wasn't wearing her mask, I would know her true feelings. But
I don't think you'd.
I'm not gonna.
Mayor, even with the mask, you can still see your eyes burning.
Oh yeah. So no, I'm not going to consider it an empty promise now. Unfortunately, as much as many will want to say or disagree with me, I just feel like an empty promise is after 4 years, because that's how long they have to deliver. Unfortunately, we can't. A lot of us can't wait. I mean, already one district can't wait for 4 years.
Yeah.
Needed it now.
I just don't know why they would come out with a release that says they awarded the money when no one's got it yet. It's crazy. We had another comment here. Mayor Robert comments, the governor has a plan, Nye. Watch when it's election, she's going to give money out. Daisy says, the most hardworking and most essential department, the mayor's office, haven't received their funding. Really, they're about 24-hour service. Give them their money now. The last I checked, I know your staffers, they're not making $1 million. They could use it, the money, right?
Yeah.
That's for sure. And they worked all weekend.
Yeah, that's why I always ask every week when you come on, just to see if there's been any progress, and unfortunately, there hasn't been, and so that's why I'm wondering if you're like just completely frustrated at this point, because I'm sure a lot of the employees who deserve their COVID differential pay.
I mean, can you imagine the conversation?
And not only that, the ESF and any freaking ARP money. My goodness, it has been how long?
Since May.
Yeah,
it's been since May, Sabrina.
I know you had to have been burning when you saw some of the people that agencies that got funding. Come on now, because I was surprised. Like, wait a minute, why isn't the Mayor's Council of Guam on here?
I mean, if you're going to give money to the Chamorro Language Commission, give money to the mayors. Just the list to me didn't make sense.
That was my thing. Is like, I'm all for cultural preservation and posterity, and but Chamorro. I mean, I'm Chamorro. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate the Chamorro language and that I do not want to sustain the Chamorro language, but for whatever reason, I feel like that amount of money have been used. Could have been used a whole lot more, or with. I don't want to say it wrong, but I'm just saying that really I think the Mayor's Council of Guam could have used that same amount.
Right. I could only imagine how difficult a decision it was for the mayor of Agana Heights, who is probably, I believe, the longest serving mayor on the Mayor's Council of Guam, a former MCOG president, to have to make that decision to say, look, we can't keep doing this when we don't have the resources to do it. What did you say? Delivering food to our Manumco? I mean, that's got to be difficult. Like, deep down gut punch. Like, I'm so sorry, but I don't have the cars. I don't have the money for the gas.
I guess the governor's okay with that.
Well, like I said, we have to put out our fires. Sometimes, sure that the public health or division of senior citizens was there to help us. But you're right. I mean, and that it had to have been it got to a point where he already just he couldn't do it anymore. And I don't want to see that happen to anyone else really. And to not be able to do that for his residents, for his constituents, for his uncle, like you said, has to, it just, I mean, all of us are, take pride in our uncle, regardless of what, whatever transpires, we do take pride in them, and we make sure that we try and take good care of them. And so, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to resources, it's dwindling for sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing is when they talk about our nonprofits or our non-appropriated funds, most of us don't have too much non-appropriated funds because they're not using our parks, they're not using our fields. There's no revenue generating on that end of the operation. So you can't say that there's other money, there's cash to be spent, because for the most part, most of us make that additional money from those types of donations for the use of our facilities.
Yeah. I just think it shouldn't be acceptable to continue to say it is what it is.
Yeah.
I know that's a hashtag, but maybe change it to hashtag we deserve better.
Yeah. I mean, where's the lieutenant governor? We have a lieutenant governor, right? Crickets. All right, Mayor. Thank you.
Hashtag. I think I'm going to borrow that.
Yeah. Run it into the ground, Mayor. But never mind, Build Back Better. Like, we deserve better now. All right, Mayor. I better go.
Was there any other updates that you had that you wanted to share?
No, I don't know. You got me thinking about something else, but no, I don't have anything else to update you on.
Well, just again, thank you for what you do, all the mayors and all of the staff at the mayor's offices.
For sure. We are grateful for our staff as well. Thank you too for acknowledging that all the time.
So that being said, Mayor, I have one final question, and this one might be a little bit tough, but going back to Thanksgiving, right? We know you, and we know your character, we know your heart, and how much reverence you have for tradition and for practices passed down from like one generation to the other. So where do you stand on fried turkey?
Fried turkey. I actually like fried turkey.
You don't mind the deep fried turkey?
I'm sorry?
You don't mind the deep fried turkey over traditional?
No, I don't. Not at all.
All right.
I don't do it, but I don't mind it.
It seems kind of scary, Jay. I've tried it. It seems kind of scary.
Bree, you've done deep fried turkey, right?
Not me personally, but I have one of those little machine things that you dump the turkey in, and when it's done, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good.
See, she's confident because she got a connected GFD, but the rest of us, I don't know about that.
That's right.
Hey, Mayor, check this out though. What about
I have a cousin that does it. And
it's good.
It's good, but I won't do it. I won't do it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Jay, what about a deep fried turkey stuffed with turkey tails?
What?
Whoa.
Fire department.
That sounds good.
Call the fire department and Dr. Wynn.
Just to be on standby, right? Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. Have a good week. Adios.
All right, there you
Have
go.
a good one.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. And you know what's more frustrating is that every week we get Mayor Alig on, and every week it's the same old thing. Ever since we got this money. Can you remember when people were excited that we got the money and we were like, oh, we're getting